Alrighty, so we are on step 3, which is adding a grid to your photo. This is probably the trickiest step, but if you follow these step by step, you're going to be just fine, okay? So that's why I make these videos, to really help you and make sure that you know what you're doing. So in this step, we're going to be taking our cropped photo and we're going to add the grid to it right in the computer, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you're going to go to this link, thegriddrawingtool.com, and it's going to bring you right to step 1, which is right where you need to be. If you click on the start button, there's like a video that shows you how to use it, but I'm going to show you here. Okay, step 1 is you're going to upload. You're going to use the orange button and you're going to choose a file. From here, you're probably going to need to go to downloads, and you're looking for something that's going to say cropped. So you can see here's my image and it says cropped. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to zoom out just a little so you can see the whole screen. Okay, so you can see here's my cropped image, and there's no grid on it yet, right? So we've got our image in here. The next thing we're going to do is skip to adjust. We don't need to rotate our image and we don't need to crop it. Okay, the crop doesn't give us the way where we can crop it to a certain size. It's sort of just like a freestyle crop. So that's why we're using Crapola instead. And in here, we're just going to jump to step 4. So once you get your picture in here and it uploads and you see it, you can just go ahead and click step number 4. Okay, now at this point, you need to think about what you're using this image for. In other words, what medium are you using it for? For example, if you're using it for grayscale, like maybe pencil or charcoal, this is going to be your chance to desaturate this image. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. If you're using colored pencil, or maybe at some point you're doing this process and you're using your image for a painting or something, you'd probably want to leave it in color. Okay, so you're going to need to decide, how do you want to adjust this, brightness, contrast. But if you're deciding between, let's say a pencil or charcoal or paint, which, would probably be in color, you're going to want to play around with the saturation. So you can see here in step 4, it says, are you drawing with a pencil? Then you're going to click the desaturate minus button about 5 times. It could depend on your image to bring it to a grayscale. Okay, if you're using colored pencil, or let's say you're doing this in the future and you're painting, you're going to want to leave your image in color, in which case I would just leave it alone. But since I'm using pencil, I'm going to go ahead and click this, and you can see 5 times brings me right to a grayscale. If I go further, it's going to start giving me blue tones, which I don't really need. It's just kind of a distraction. Okay, so this is a good, about 5 times, if you have a full color image, should take you right to a grayscale image. Okay, so that's step 4, is adjusting. I desaturated my image. Again, if you're using color, please do not do this. You need the color. Okay, step 5, now it's time to add your grid. Okay, so in this step, we're going to go ahead and jump over to step 5, or you can hit the next button. Now, automatically, you're going to see there's a grid here, okay? But this isn't quite set up the way that we need it. It's got a portion of a square here, and it's 4 or 5 inches wide by 4 and something tall. Remember, our project paper for this project is 9 by 12, okay? And, we're going to go ahead and make the grid based off of our proportion for the image and based off of our paper that we're going to be gridding. Okay, so we need to make sure that we do this correctly. In step 5, it says we're going to add our grid. If your photo is wider or landscape orientation, you're going to choose 12 boxes wide. Okay, you want to make sure keep the boxes square is checked. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 12, and I'm going to select apply grid. Now you can see I've got, because I kept them square, remember our proportion is 9 by 12, and I can count these. Okay, we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. What do we got in the other direction? 3, 6, 9. So we have a 9 by 12 grid. Now, a couple things. I would choose black as your color for your line. If you have a very dark image, you can choose white, okay? If you really want to choose a color, you can. Personally, I find them distracting. You also want to choose 1 pixel for your lines. So I'm going to choose black. My image is primarily a lighter image, so black should be fine. And I'm going to choose 1 pixel. I'm going to click Apply Grid again. And you're going to see here that now I have a 9 by 12 grid, right, over top of my image. Everything is perfect. Everything is great. The world is wonderful. Next we're going to do is we're just going to download. Okay, so once we have our grid, I'm going to go ahead and download this image, and you will see it download. Okay, if you're on a Chromebook, it's going to go to your downloads folder, and same thing with a computer. Okay, so that is step number 3, adding a grid to your photo.